Hello viewers, today we will see about Angular Workspace configuration file. So basically when we are creating any application, you can see one of the file is angular.json, which is located at the root level. Basically it will provide the workspace configuration, and also it provides a configuration for the multiple projects, and also you can manage your project specific settings there. So we will see about internal in details of angular json, and basically this workspace configuration will be used when we are handling a multiple application. So we will see that angular json file internal details. Let's create one new application, angular application, sorry, angular workspace. So we can use ng command, ng new, and we can have angular app workspace. And if you don't want to create any angular application, you can specify create application equal to false. So when you are specifying this flag create application equal to false, it won't generate any application. It will just create in workspace for the angular, where you can manage multiple projects. Now application is created, sorry, angular workspace is created. Let's see that what has been created. Sorry, let's move on to app workspace and then open application workspace. So you can see that one, there is a workspace configuration file is created here. So if you see that one, so none of the project is been created here, so there is no project specific file here located. So now let's go and create projects. Okay, now if you see that one, this is an angular workspace configuration file. Okay, so you don't see any details. Now let's create one new application. So if you see that one, the first thing is new project root. Whenever we are creating new application, your new application will be created in the projects folder. So basically what will happen, it will create one new projects folder here, and inside that projects folder your application will be created. Let's create a one new angular application, ng new, ng generate application. That's a that's a application name. First tab, let me create one application first tab. I'm going with the default values. Now if you see that one, that new project is been created. We can see that one, you can see that one, the new project, the first tab is been created with the default files. And if you see that one, this is an angular workspace configuration file where it's a new project configuration, it's been created. Okay, so now we have generated one angular application. Same way you can create angular library also inside the angular workspace. So let me create ng generate library and library name. First library, and let me create. Now if you see that one, that new library, it's been created here. So library related under the projects folder, and also here you can see that one. So there is an library related configuration also is created in the Angular workspace configuration. Basically this workspace configuration file, it's it's maintaining the settings of the application, for all the application, whether it is in library or Angular application, it maintains those details. Now let's go, see one by one and what it says. Okay, so project type is nothing but an, what type of project this one is, an Angular application project or library project. If you see that one, library, it is a library type, but here if it is an Angular application, it's an application. The schematics is a one, where you can change the ng command. So when we are using the ng generate command, for example, when we are generating the component using the ng generate, it will, by default it will create a folder and a few files like angular.ts and the component.ts file, component template file, and a spec file, and the css files. So those files will be created. So if you want to anything to change, for example, here schematics, if I'm going to change that, for component creation, for example spec, if I don't want to generate a spec file, for example spec equal to by default true. Okay, now let me create a one component. So my default project is first app. Let me create a one component, ng generate component. I'm creating component name as first. Okay, let me see. If you see that one, these are the files is been created: HTML file, spec file, TS file, and the CSS file. If I go and see here in the first app src folder, under app, I can see these four files is been created. For example, if I don't want to generate this spec file, okay, what I can do here, I can specify here spec equal to false. Okay, I'm saving it here. I'm generating another component, name is second. Now let's see that one, how, if you see that one here, there is no spec file. Here you can see that one, there is no spec file. So this is a way what you can do. You can change the behavior of the ng command, ng generate command. So whether you want to customize your ng generate command for the component or for the class or for the service, whatever you can generate here. You can, if you see that one here, you see here, you can customize for directives, customize for module, pipe, service. So I'm not doing those things. I'm just moving on to the next, the root. Root is, if you see that one, what is the root directory? Okay, so if you see that one, for this application, for this project Angular application, what is your root directory? So from the root, if you see that one, there is a project folder and the first app. So this is your root directory of your project. And source root is a where is your source code is available. So here is one project first app src. So if you see that one here, only you are having your application specific file. Okay, so that's why we are calling source root. And prefix, basically what will happen if you specify what prefix you are saying, the respectively that your component selector prefix will be applied. For example, since we have specified app, our component, if you see that any that recently we generated few two component, the two component selector will prefix with this value. If you can see that one, first component ts file. Here you can see that one, it is prefixing with app. Okay, if you want to change, you can change. Okay, so if you want to change to different prefix, you can change by changing this one. So basically when you are generating with a new component, it will apply with a new prefix value. If you want to see that one, for example, app, I'm changing to app test. And if I'm changing, if I'm creating new component, got third. So third component is created, and if you see that one, so app test prefix is applied. Okay, so that is a purpose of prefix here. So architect is a target, where we will run the multiple commands. So basically we will have multiple commands: build command, serve command, and test command. We have lots of commands are there. Okay, so basically mostly we will use this serve and build. Serve for running the application, and build for building your application for the dev environment or production environment. And the builder is the one who will handle that, take care of this entire process. For example, if you are using the ng build, this builder will take these config options and configuration and pack your angular application. Okay, so this library will take care of that one. So builder is a main part, so it will take in as an argument of options, configurations, and accordingly it will create. Okay, let's see the options of for this builder. For this builder, option is nothing but an output path. Okay, for example, when you are using the ng build, where this has to be created. For example, let me create let me build ng build. Now if you see that one, now the ng build command created that output in a distribution folder. So let's see that one, whether it is created. This you see that one, the dist and the first app folder, these are the files is been created for your deployment. Okay, you can take this file and deploy in your web server. Okay, this is an output path. And what index file has to be referred. Okay, so what is a first, this is an angular application, is a single page application. What is your single page? So you can, if you see that one, there is in the project, in the first tab, if you have a source, in that you can see that one index.html. Okay, it will take this index.html. If you see that one, you won't see any js file which is located inside the body. It is not having any reference. But when we are building, automatically it will put all the references inside this file. If you go and see that one here, you can see that one, it will adding all the references here. So after building that one, it will automatically put the all the references which is required here. Okay, next is main. The main is an entry point of running this application. So what is a main entry point? This is a main.ts file. This main.ts file, if you see that one, here only we will specify which module we have to load it first. Okay, so app model, from here, if you saw that first component, which component we have to load, this is an app component. Okay, so this is a way it will start your application. Mainly it will take, it is an entry point of your application. It's main.ts file. Here we will specify what is an root module. From the root module we will specify the what is your entry component. So bootstrap component, so that is an app component. That component will be loaded in your index file. If you see that one, index.html. So this route, this is your entry component. This component, that component will be generated and put it here. Okay, so that is a purpose of main property. And polyfills is a one to support multiple browser. So here you can see, here if you create any application, polyfill file, file will be created here. Okay, it will have all the configuration which is necessary for to support multiple browser. And a tsconfig is a, here if you see that one, this is a project specific configuration file. Okay, if you hear that one, there is a main.ts file will be created, tsconfig file. Okay, this is a workspace level configuration file. This is a workspace level configuration file. This can be extended in the application specific configuration file. I can see here tsconfig.app.json. Here you can see that one, so what are the ts file we have to use to run our application. Okay, what are the files we have to compile. Okay, that configuration we will tell it here. Basically what will happen, ts.app.config, it is extending the workspace level ts configuration and adding the extra properties. Okay, that is the purpose of tsconfig. And this is one that aot by default it is false. It's ahead of time compilation which is required for the production environment. If you are going to prepare an application for the production, what you can do, you can make it as a true. Okay, or you can pass the flag as ng build hyphen prod, means automatically this will set as a true. Okay, and asset is a one where it has to copy the static file into your deployment folder. For example, what will happen, whatever the files which you are specifying and folder which you are specifying, it will copy from here to that distribution folder. If you see that one, I have specified favorite and icon and the assets folder. So if you see that one here in the dist, here you can see that fav icon. Okay, and I don't have any files in the asset folder, that's why I don't see anything here. Okay, that's it. And then I'm just saying that one, what is a styles file. If you see here, what is my style file, so this is a style file which is located. If you want to include any scripts, that you can include that one as part of the project, that will be included. Okay, and let's see the second parameter of this builder, that is a configuration. Okay, this object will tells for example, if you want to generate if you're generating output for the production, automatically what you're supposed to do, you have to change that and change the settings for the production. So accordingly, if it is a production deployment, then what it will happen, it will find replacement, it will find this file and replace with this file. Okay, so we will see that one, what we have in the environment.ts file, production equal to false. But if you go and see that one, environment.production.ts file, production equal to true. Okay, so when you are deploying for that, when you are generating, when you are building an application for the production, it will call it as a prod true. So respectively prod level settings will be taken in that builder. Now this is an output optimization means it will just compress, and it will the named chunk, the aot by default true for the production. Okay, uh, and the budgets will, which will tell that one, when you are generating an application, okay, how much the file size would be. Okay, if you are saying that if you throw a warning if it is exceeding this limit, and throw a error if your file is exceeding this 5 MB limit. Okay, accordingly you can according to your application, you can specify the limit if you want to maintain. So accordingly what will happen, this the error will throw, or the warning will throw based on the size of your file which you are creating. And so when we are having the multiple application, you can see that one, what is your default project. So here you can specify which application has to run when you are using that ng build command or ng serve command. Yeah, as I explained, so this is a configuration file, workspace configuration file, where you can keep your multiple projects, and you can change, you can customize according to your needs. Okay, so hopefully you understand that one, the purpose of Angular workspace configuration file. Hope you enjoyed. So if you want to get more videos about this one like this, please subscribe